How are you doing? Hope everything is going great. So I have some treats to show off today. My mom bought me this awesome card bag, and she also treated me to this new tarot deck. So we are reading from the Steampunk tarot deck today, and it's been really awesome so far for all my other readings. It gives me a lot of movies and TV shows when I look at the cards to help me do my reading, so I hope you enjoy that today. So we are checking in post-eclipse portal to see what kind of energies are coming in or will be working with you for a while. Eclipse energy can last up to 6 months, so this could be energies that are coming through very soon. These could be energies that are taking time. We're just going to see what's going on. There's also been quite a bit of messages specifically for divine feminine energy, which is why I have my goddess deck today. And yeah, so let's get started. I've had a lot of ascension symptoms lately. My left eye's been twitching, which sometimes means that I'm not seeing something, but at the same time, I try not to associate everything with like a possible negative. So I just say that my divine feminine is something's being revealed to my divine feminine energies, that specifically through like the third eye chakra type deal. So that's a message that's coming out for you right out the bat. So you have this really lovely card, Aries. This is Minerva. Although Minerva, the Roman goddess of war and wisdom, is usually portrayed as equivalent to the Greek goddess Athena, she was originally an Etruscan goddess of dawn. She is revered as a goddess of wisdom, for the light of dawn typifies knowledge. She guides heroes in war and is patroness of all arts, crafts, guilds, and medicine. Called by Ovid the goddess of 1,000 works, she was the inventor of musical instruments, numbers, and many crafts, including weaving. The serpent and the owl were sacred to her. The serpent is an emblem of life energy and the creative impulse. The owl is a symbol of death and wisdom, and thus Minerva, a goddess of the dawn and of wisdom, is also a goddess of death and transformation. Minerva is an incarnation of wisdom in human form, an affirmation that we can use our knowledge and wisdom in the pursuit of any goal we choose. I love this. This is like super mom energy in a way. Man, my left eye's going off for you guys. There's a lot of eyes in here too. There's eyes everywhere in this card. So it's also giving me the sense of like literally a message about eyes. Like an all-seeing mother has her eye on all kinds of situations. Very much that intuition, like has her internal eye on everything too. While also being super creative. I just wanted to say too that this is talking about like war energy, Aries. For you guys, Mars just stationed in your sign, which is its home sign, Aries. So this is very much to me feeling like warrior queen goddess energy, like capable of doing anything at all. Very much leadership role, leads others, teaches others, has her eye out on everybody. Like the goddess of 1,000 works, that's her. That's what I mean. It's like she's got everything, her eye on everything. That's a really nice message coming through right out the gate for you guys. So let's start out with this Steampunk Tarot. What kind of energies are we going to see for Aries? Ooh. Oof. Hang on. Well, I'm just going to say it's like right here on top, right? I'm going to reshuffle, but we do have the Lovers of the Magician coming out. There was a lot of cards that wanted to just spaz there, so let's try to focus a little bit. What energies are really coming through for this post-eclipse energy? So I'm going to move her over to the side over here. So we've got the Moon and the Ten of Swords coming out. So with the Moon, obviously we just came through a lunar eclipse, right? So this first little bit of cards could be very much related to very recent energy or energy you're actually going through at this moment. And part of that might have to do with some kind of ending or backstab or betrayal or... okay, that's weird. For some reason, it just gave me that movie, The Hangover, and you know how the guy that's supposed to get married, he's like actually the whole entire time he's like asleep on top of the hotel on a mattress because that was where he ended up in the middle of the whole debacle. And for some reason it just gave me that, which isn't a very typical Ten of Swords message. It's kind of giving me the message like his friends were like freaking out the whole time and like went looking for him, and the whole time he was up there on the roof, right? It's like an end of running around. You just said running around like a chicken with your head cut off. There's like an end of running around because what you're looking for is like right on top of you type deal is what it just said. Like it's right on top of you. It's literally like right like right on top of you. There's like a briefcase and there is like a paper, like a card that's over here. I mean, this has certainly got some messages of pain in it when it comes to the ending. Like this person is literally pinned down and stabbed through quite a few times. There is this really nice dawn in the background, but there's also like a lot of smog and everything. This is Big Ben, so there's kind of that clock tower thing. It's also showing me a little bit of Sherlock Holmes, like at the end of the movie when they're fighting on the bridge, and there's like, it's like solving a mystery. That's what it's giving me, like the Hangover and Sherlock Holmes movies coming together. It's like there's like some kind of mystery being solved, and I think that's the end of the mystery because it's like you've been running around trying to figure this out, and the answer's right on top of you. And the reason why you've been running around is because you've been in this moon energy, so it's been dark and confusing and you haven't been quite sure what's going on. There's a sense of like emergence as well coming out of this water and like kind of pursuing this column of light towards the moon. It's like, and just said like this is that divine feminine energy again. We're always associated with the moon, so people shining the light on you, you shining the light down on other things, even though it's dark and mysterious, you know there's a pathway through. This has very much been like a mystery thriller story for you. So if you're not currently going through that, I feel like, I don't know, it just corrected me. It's like you've been kind of like going through this. And I think very much coming out of the lunar eclipse phase, you're wrapping this up pretty quickly. Because it's like right on top of you. Right on top of you. What else? We got 5 cards here. Okay. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. Let's just put her over here for right now. Because I want to make sure these cards are visible. Yeah, okay. There. Okay. It just wanted me to sit there and think about that for a second. Okay. because yeah, there's a pair right here, and there's almost a pairing right here, and then there's a pairing right here in the middle. So just follow me here. Part of the mystery that was through this moon and everything is this sense of heartbreak. Now, this Three of Swords, though, is very interesting. It just gave me the stopwatch from the White Rabbit in Alice in Wonderland. And in the animated version, the Mad Hatter and the March Hare are like convinced that his watch is broken. So then they like shove mustard and jam and like all kinds of stuff in it, attempting to quote unquote fix it, but they actually like mess it up even more type deal. There's a bit of sense of that. It's like you've been trying to, it just said like slather something on, put something in the gears, like there's, yeah, it's like there's this energy of like trying to stuff too much into your heart space, even though this is a swords card, which is your mental energy, which that's the thing, you've been trying to stick a lot of different swords into the heart space, and the swords are simply communications, words, thoughts, all of that sort. And instead it's been jamming the gears, right? It's jamming the gears. So as much as, and like, see, this is what I mean, there's like the other swords. The answer that was starting this mystery is right on top of you. Something has been getting stuck in the gears. Something's been getting stuck in the gears. It's brought everything to a halt, caused possibly a lot of emotional and mental stress, and it just said disorder and pain. When it just said disorder, it literally means it as like disorder, like everything's not in order, disorder. That's what I mean. It's like there's a lot of stuff you've been dealing with in this respect that brought all these gears to a halt. And so now everything's not in order. That kind of helped put you in this energy here. And that's part of what's wrapping up. On this other side, there's this three, and then there's this three. There's this Three of Wands. So there's this other energy coming in through the eclipse that is very much this sitting and waiting, because you know something, these ships, you know that something is coming in for you, spiritually, especially. You've got the lights, you're posted up, you got the scope. It's like you're just literally waiting for it to come over the horizon. And these two threes side by side, or rather framing this, definitely imply that like there is spirit very much involved in this, that this cycle is therefore part of that growth, part of that lesson, part of your experience with spirit. And that's where it's kind of like, it's supposed to be a little bit more fun. It's supposed to be a little bit more like an adventure, like a movie, it just gave me like one of those rooms where you like solve the mystery, or like you have to like get out and you're the one that has to figure out the puzzle type deal, right? So there's, and it's kind of like this too, like this is a puzzle, like how do you get the pieces out so that it starts working again? That's kind of what you're standing on this side, like waiting for to come in. I like all the little suns kind of coming through, but they're coming through the haze and they're coming through these clouds, and that's what I mean. It's like you've very much been in this space for a while, but I greatly feel like through the eclipse portal and then the energies you're experiencing, you're going to see this light being revealed, which we're going to get to this. Here we are. That's the sun being revealed. So there's a lot of promise here. Part of this is then attaching very much to this Ten of Pentacles, which is the basically happily ever after card, right? Like we've got the family over here, we got the dogs that represent loyalty. This woman is very much like a seer, you know, a tarot reader herself, and she's pulled the Ten of Diamonds, which is a Ten of Pentacles card. So there's very much some mystery involved about a happily ever after that possibly didn't quite get to come off the ground because there are some things, energies that needed to be worked through. There's some lessons involved, especially within the mind and the heart space, that needed to be figured out like a puzzle. It's like you got to pull like I was saying, you got to pull the stuff out so the gears start turning, and that's what kind of helps you get into this energy. This Two of Wands, this is like a graduation on this Two of Wands. This is very much like standing still, pausing and reflecting. Interesting. Hang on. You know that scene in the second Matrix movie where Neo's fighting in that big mansion that the Merovingian lives in, and he like opens the door right at the end of the fight to like chase the guy, and when he opens the door and steps out on the balcony, he's like in the middle of Nepal. It's like the Merovingian or the train, or maybe it was the train guy, I don't know, one of them. It's like when he opens the door to go chase the guy, the Matrix switched him and now he's in a different place, right? And for that moment, he's alone and he's trying to figure out how to get back to wherever he needs to go. And that's kind of what this moment feels like. It's like there was a door that opened, and instead of it leading to a place where you thought it was going to lead, it like left you stranded on this balcony in the middle of Nepal with like no one around. And that's part of the mystery too. It's like, how do I get back here to this happily ever after? There's a 10 and a 10 here, so there's definitely like a completion coming through. It's almost like, right, like this should be here and that should be here, so then there's the completion, but that's not how it came out. So that's what I mean. It's like you feeling like you're in a place where you're like, how did I get to this point? How did I get over here? I was supposed to be over here with all of this, right? And instead I'm kind of standing over here. And that's where at the same time we have this really nice promise with this Sun card. And look, there's the little dog very much coming out of this card. So this is like that illumination and that enlightenment and that joy and that happiness that you have sensed this whole time. That's why you're still standing over here looking through the scope. You know that these two cards, it's like all this darkness and cloudiness, and then there's these really bright cards, right? It's like this, it's like you're waiting on the fog to lift. You're waiting on the clouds to roll out because you know that this exists. But some things got like switched around and you're just kind of like over here right now, like, whoa. You're here for a reason though. Spirit always puts you in a place for a reason. So there's part of this that you need to figure out. That's part of this kind of mystery journey you're on. How do you get from this space to this space or this space? This is major arcana. So this is very much really beautiful happiness and joy and togetherness. This is happily ever after in a way that's like you start over after the 10 of any suit. So now you go back to the ace. So there is as much of a completion of happiness as there is an ending, and now you get to start a new cycle. And I would say though that in this reading, this is very much coming through as just simply that kind of like happily ever after card, because here is that Sun card to back it up. Okay. It just gave me like the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz, and they're singing and dancing kind of like on the Yellow Brick Road type deal. Like there's a little bit of that energy in there. So that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, just being on some kind of journey, following the Yellow Brick Road, learning the mystery, been running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to figure all this out, like how'd you get over here, and at the same time knowing very much within, following that light, knowing that this still is here. It's just kind of hidden under some cloud cover, right? So let's get some clarifiers. What's up with this Three of Swords over here? What's up with the Three of Swords? That's a lot of cards too, Spirit, but there's a really nice Ace of Cups right here. Let's just check it out. All that for the Three of Swords. Really, Spirit? So what the Three of Swords over here is about is there was supposed to be this really awesome cup, right? Divine cup of love, emotional happiness and fulfillment, like a new opportunity. There was something, some cup that was, you felt was taking place. And again, that's where I feel like, you know, these cards down here and that 10 going back to a ace, here's an ace. That's what I mean. It's like there was something that was supposed to get started and be really new. It made you feel awesome. It made you feel good. It made you feel like a star. It made you feel like a super fruitful, happy, divine woman, or that type of energy, right? Very fruitful, very, very much like on top of the world type energy. And then we do have this masculine energy in this Chariot right here. There was supposed to be victory and triumph and a lot of forward progress, and technically the Empress and the Chariot aren't like a pair, but you can see here in this reading very much looks like a pair in that regard. It's like the Warrior and the Queen, right? So that's what I mean. It's like there was supposed to be, and this is very much like some pomp and circumstance, like some ceremony, but very much about that forward movement, success, victory. It's like a procession type deal, right? It's like totally. And the stars on the curtain for him very much relate to the stars on the crown. So that's what I mean. This was supposed to be like a union, get together of these energies, of these people, what have you. And then there's also this Page of Cups, which is more of like that messenger energy. Like some emotional news came in, and this card is very much about hope, but this is all very much, it just said this is a show of this character, right? This character is stealing these swords and sneaking away from him. Here's some swords right here, right? There's the swords up there. This card can be very much about hope, though, in regards of, like, you can see the stage. You know that this is a show. This isn't something that is, I just say, like, are you entertained? That's what I mean. It's like, this is not something that, this is not an energy that Spirit is keeping in your life in regards to the murder mystery. Ooh, interesting, the murder mystery. Maybe that's the type of feeling it brought with it, right? Like something ended, something died, something was killed, somebody was being deceitful type deal. Something stole part of your joy, part of this procession energy right here. There was some news that came in that regard. But this card does carry the meaning of hope. So that's what I mean. It's like, despite that, you still have hope for this taking place. And I would say that that is where these cards come in. I'm just going to kind of put these together over here. Put this back where it needs to be. It's like there's still, and look at all this beautiful yellow energy. That's what I mean. That's that sunlight. There was a lot of good stuff in the works. And I think it literally just got put ground to a halt because there's swords in the cogs and stuff, and that could be all kinds of things. So something just got put on pause, something got put on hold, something that you were working on. And this could very much have to do with like quarantine, everything that we're going through globally, right? Like there's challenges. That's what a 7 can definitely represent, as some challenges. So then, yeah, let's get some like clarity on this side. There it is. It just said, in the meantime, like, so in the meantime, it's like there's been work to do. And you've been working at it pretty well. So it's like you've kept yourself busy. You have been working on things. You have been productive and doing things. So you haven't completely ground to a halt, but you've been working instead of in the swords and the heart space and everything. You've been working on these pentacles instead. So that's very much working hard in reality. Focusing on your money, focusing on your home, focusing on things you're literally creating to sustain and build those things. In the meantime, you're still standing here, either on this cliff or over here. This is a kind of a cliff too. You're still like standing here, waiting and watching for this stuff to come in. So this is about being like, it just said like due diligence, like being diligent in your work and what you have right in front of you, right? Like what's right there in front of you. These also very much resemble the sun as well. So it's like building your own happiness in the meantime. There's some of that. Let's just get clarifiers on this energy then. This is, because again, okay, this is like Eclipse. So this is, again, could take the process of up to 6 months type deal. Yeah. There's this 9 of Wands. This currently is in this 9 of Wands phase. So again, there's the 10. Here's a 9. Different suits, but here's a 9. So it's like you're at the 9 and you're going to reach the level 10 soon. While you're here, you're meant to reflect on those things that he's like looking back over here. So it's like reflecting back on this experience, how it could have hurt you. Also just how it put you on pause and redirected you into something else. That's the thing, whatever this was, redirected you in a different direction. And it has felt like a wild goose chase, and the answer has been right on top of you the whole time, which is, I believe, very much comes back to this card, which is like you had some work to do in whatever department you feel this card might represent for you. So there were things that Spirit was leading you to. It's not that this was an incorrect path. It was just like, you think about the state of the world. Like we all had plans and then we all had to get redirected because of like quarantine and stuff like that, right? It's very much kind of that idea. It's like, it wasn't that you were in the wrong path. It was just globally speaking, like collectively speaking, the world needs your energy to focus on something else because this is part of your calling, and that is what the next phase of your life, your family, your world needs from you. And that's why this is currently standing in here, because Spirit just wants you to stand there and kind of like recognize that. Like really pause and reflect and look and say, you know what? This might not have happened yet, but look at what else Spirit did for me, right? Brought me to a safe place. Even though it's kind of lonely and away from people, you're still safe up here, right? Like this is solid. And there is still guiding lights here. It's like a waiting phase. It just said like purgatory, like a waiting room. It's like you've been in this waiting phase. And then even graduating up from 1, it's like 2 wands to 3 wands. It's like, okay, like recognizing like, yes, I know. Okay. Yes, I am here for a reason, and I'm looking out because I know that Spirit's working with me in these other departments. So then let's get one last Aries. And that's what I mean. You see this energy, how it's like kind of like all over the place. That's what I mean. I feel like that's what you have been feeling, but I feel like some order is coming through. Okay. Put this down. There is some order coming through though, because, hang on. Ooh, man, these cards are like all over the place. Hang on. Okay. It wants me to just kind of like put these here. Put this over here. No, it wants me to put these down here. My right ear just kind of got some pressure in it, almost like if you dive too deep into a pool. Which that might have been part of it, right? That might be part of it. It's like you weren't supposed to dive so deep quite yet, because that can kind of hurt your ears and stuff. It's a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of pressure. That's part of this hiatus. There's a lot of pressure associated with whatever this cycle was, and it kind of could have given you like a headache. Like, could have been like just a lot to deal with, right? That can be very much in that Nine of Wands energy too, and that's where just in general, Spirit's like, okay, hang on, like pause, go focus on this for a while. Go build this aspect of yourself for a while. Go build on this for a while. So then, eventually, though, I feel like you're going to come back to this Sun Spirit, this energy right here, that happiness and that joy. So the final kind of pull through for this is we have this Five of Swords, which is definitely like mental challenges, harsh communications that could have cut you, or from you that can cut others. It's a bit of competition. This can be a vicious card type of energy. It just said you're not putting up with this anymore. You're not, it just said ain't nobody got time for that. Like, that's what I mean. It's like, very much related to this. It's like there was some of this energy coming through. There's still some hope for that good energy, but the negative aspects that can come through with this card, that's where this one comes back in for me. And it's like nobody has time for that. Nobody has time to lose their minds over things that spirits put on hold, because they were put on hold for a reason. Nobody's got time to worry about people that cut and hurt you, because there's so many other things for you to work on. So many other happy things for you to focus on. And that is what this Ace of Swords represents coming out here under that Sun card. Like, that's the spirit of truth, of just like divine communication. I just said like a divine mind, like keeping your mind clean. This is always definitely like truth for me, like straight up, that's what I mean, like straight up truth. And that's coming out here under this happiness, and that's always what you have to focus on in these times. And that is the straight up truth. Because there is this Knight of Cups coming in, and this Knight of Cups can definitely be a really nice love offer, an apology, just romance in general, coming to sweep you off your feet type deal. Like, yeah. And that's what I mean. It's like there is, that's part of that, like happily ever after. It's like this energy returns, is what it just said. This energy returns. And that's what that truth is. And that's why you can't hold on to these energies here. There is a lot of truth coming through, and it's about this happiness returning, bringing that cup back around, bringing the happier, sunnier energies back around in a great way. But there was a lot of lessons that came out of this, I feel like. And one last card from the Steampunk. Hang on. That's the one. Seven of Pentacles. Sorry, let me make sure my cards are straight there. Okay. Nope. See, this is what I'm saying. There were some that got flipped over. Interesting. This Seven of Pentacles. That's what I mean. Okay, so the Seven of Pentacles, I would say the overall phase, it's like taking, that's what I was saying, like taking stock of what you have, taking care of what you have, working on what's right in front of you, growing things. That's what this whole phase has been about. You growing into this person that therefore knows how to grow these beautiful things, take care of these beautiful things, take stock of all the beautiful things that you have. I want you to also notice the sunflowers in the sun card and the yellow almost sunflowers that are in the background here. So it's like, that's what I mean. It's like you already had this happiness. You already have this. You have learned how to grow it yourself instead of holding on to it in this like happily ever after kind of way and thinking that it's always something that's off in the distance, something that is yet to be attained and achieved, because that type of thought process is what puts the swords into the heart space, that this is something to be achieved, that you never had it to begin with, or that it's suddenly going to make everything so much better. You weren't taking stock of your power already to grow this happiness and the garden of your heart and your spirit and just your natural energy that you already have. And the other thing for you guys, Aries too, is like I was saying, so this is eclipse energy we're talking about, so going out 6 months, but Mars is in Aries until January, so that's basically 6 months. So I would say best advice that feels like it's coming through from spirit is over the next 6 months, what you need to be doing for sure is focusing on all of the happiness and joy that you have already grown for yourself, and make sure you're focusing on growing it continuously for yourself instead of waiting for it to be some kind of opportunity that rides in to sweep you off your feet. This is telling me it is coming back. So that's the thing, is like that type of energy of like the Knight of Cups is coming back. That romance, that happiness, that emotional joy and fulfillment is coming back to return. But in the meantime, part of your lesson was learning that it was always there, that you didn't have to wait for this procession, you didn't have to wait for it to bloom. It was already there the whole time. And at the same time, it's coming back around. So while you're waiting on it to bloom again, it's like you're learning how to garden and grow it for yourself so that you're no longer waiting on it. You can grow it for yourself. And that's part of your lesson. That's really nice, Aries. I know this was like super complex. It's been interesting doing these readings lately. So that's what I mean, like eclipse energy is complex. But I hope that that's a really good lesson for you in that regard. So let me know if that resonates for you. I'll catch you guys later. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.